Hey, it's Saturday and February is just about done, isn't it? It's the 27th. Hope you're doing well. Um, the reason why I'm making a video right now is because I was just doing my morning reading of the book by Paul Sears, Angels and Demons. Really enjoying it, Paul. You're a very interesting. A lot of parallels. I see so many parallels in things in my life, in yours, and what's happened where you're from. So many of these bands, so many. You mentioned 311. 311 got started partially inspired by me, my band RAF. Lots of little things in this book where there are these almost connections. Well, and I'm also part of the story now because I play on the Man of Mirage records. That is what Dave Newhouse is doing now after the Muffins, which also brings up, just right quick, it was really nice to hear from folks associated with Mazgacano's, from people at his label. I didn't even notice the fact that Dave Newhouse of the Muffins was on here. And then it was pointed out to me that members of Stormy Six, the band Stormy Six, are on here. Stormy Six is a band, they have records that are hard for me to get. I'm still trying to get a hold of one. But something in here I wanted to just talk about because it affects me personally. And I just want to explain, okay? So Paul, there's a part in the book here where Paul explains that he doesn't like music that doesn't involve actual real playing, and he goes on about it. I understand, but I want to explain my position because I'm working with MIDI, and the last few records I put out are all digital, but there's a reason why, okay? So I'm in full understanding of the attitude that I want to hear real musicians making the music, actual touching instruments. I'd like that too. I'd love to realize this music that I make with real musicians. I can't afford it. That's the number one thing. Here in Omaha, I've attempted many times to start my own band. Like you start a band where let's just do this. We're in it together, and I can't get the results that I want. I have never been able to get people to play the music the way I want it. And I realize that in order to do that, there are people in Omaha who could play my music the way I want it, but I'd have to pay them to rehearse, which is proper. Here's the other thing. I can play all the parts. Every instrument on my records, the drums, the bass, the guitar, the keyboards, everything. I can play it for real. I've got a bunch of recordings, including my first couple of albums, where I'm playing instruments. So I can do it. Okay, so that's what I want people to understand. If it wasn't for the benefit of the digital media, I would not be able to realize these ideas. And I longed for it for years before I was able to afford a MIDI setup. I dreamed about making music with MIDI for years before I could get my hands on a setup because of finance and other stuff, I just wanted to say that because I do think a lot of people don't pay any attention to what I'm doing because it's MIDI, because it's not real instruments. And there's nothing I can do about that. I'm just telling you why. But I'll tell you what, I can play those instruments. Many bands that I've been in, it's like I like to be in a band where the drummer is good, because I've been in a lot of bands where I'm as good as or better than the drummer, and that's no fun. Drummer's got to be good. So with that said, yeah, Paul Sears is a good drummer. I love the fact that he puts a list in here of bands that he recommends and found out about. And I know all these bands. There's only like 2 or 3 bands I had not heard of. And most of them I have releases by. This has been real fun. But I wanted to say that because I do think that some folks are missing out on my artistry because they don't want to listen to someone who doesn't use real instruments. That's what I have to say. Okay.